ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Bahrain Now. With me, your host, Bara Abdulla. We've got a great show coming up featuring great local talents, initiatives, and events from around the kingdom. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to have a beautiful talk as our next guest is a multi-talented actor, model, singer, and a songwriter who has made it all the way and put her mark on Bollywood and the international scene, having called Bahrain home for so long. Would like to welcome Mariah Verma, whose multicultural and multifaceted art forms are entertaining but also carry a deeper message. Well, good evening, Mariah. How are you?
Good evening. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. It's so good to see you again.
Amazing to see you. When was it when we met last time?
Oh, okay. We'll talk about that later pretty much, but it was a movie. We're going to mention that in a bit.
Okay.
But how you been? What's been going on?
Alhamdulillah. Okay, thank you so much for asking.
So I know you, a lot of people know you, but to your viewers, tell us more about yourself.
I'm a singer-songwriter. I'm an actress too. Whenever somebody wants me, like our previous movie that we did.
Right.
But no, I love acting, I love modeling, and I'm a singer-songwriter, like I said. And I've been currently working a lot with a lot of Bollywood Punjabi songs, and I've been doing that for a while. And yeah, it's just been great. I've been singing and dancing since I was 3 years old on stage, since I was 3.
Oh.
Yeah. I tell this story everywhere. So basically, when I was about 8 months old, I've been in love with Michael Jackson since then, and I adored his music. And my mom would say I would not eat my baby formula unless I watched Thriller on. So I've been wanting to do music since I was a little girl, and this is what I live and breathe every day. So
that's pretty much.
Thank you so much.
Music, right?
Music.
Amazing.
All about the music.
Amazing. I mean, you're smart, you're intellectual, and you know it shows in your music and the way you approach your music, understand how it works from a marketing perspective, from the artistic perspective, and it's been part of you for such a long time.
Thank you.
And the journey, like since you were 8 months.
8 months old. Yeah.
That is, I would say, too early and too young.
I guess my mom would always say she could sing and like dance before she could walk and talk, you know, because it was just like, I've always loved it, loved the entertainment, loved being part of the entertainment industry. It has its pros and cons, but definitely. I'm still wouldn't regret it for a second. I'm so happy to be part of it. I'm so blessed, alhamdulillah, for all, you know, whatever God's given me. And I'm still, obviously I haven't reached my mark yet, but inshallah, you know, soon one.
So now you knew what your passion was, like since you were 8 months. But when was that point where like, that's it, this is gonna be my profession. I'm gonna take this seriously.
Since I was maybe about 3 years old, 4 years old, I've always known it. The first time I got on stage, I was about 3.5, 3 years old. My mom actually is a professional Indian dancer, and so she's been on stage. So we come from a very musical family.
Wow.
And dancing, like a lot of Indian classical stuff. But yeah, so she's been on stage since she was 3. I sort of carried it out. My grandma before her was also a playback singer. So yeah, so she used to sing in a lot of like family events, and you know, just back in the days, I think, you know, those days were quite different. It was more like a family function thing, but she did that. So I think it's in our family music, and yeah, so I think I always knew this is what I wanted to do. And my mom would always say, it's either music or acting, because like, I always had like a million expressions on my face, so she thought, okay.
Yes, you do.
So she thought it's definitely acting. But music, my mom wasn't really sure of, because even though I used to say, look, I want to really sing, till the age of 10, nobody knows about this, and I've actually never said this in any interview.
Exclusivity. It's an exclusive take right now.
I had this voice condition, like when I was younger, where only air would come out, and all the doctors couldn't figure out what the problem was, and so there was no voice coming out till I was about 8, 9 years old. And so my mom thought, well, she wants to be a singer, but there's no voice coming out of her. And then one fine day, everything just cleared up.
It just happened.
Alhamdulillah.
Was it like vocal muscles?
It was definitely that. It just went on for years. Nobody could find out what actually was going on.
Okay.
And I think about when I was about 9, 9.5, it sort of just came out. Before I was 10, yeah.
This is amazing, you know. It's like, I think you are one of a million, to be honest. It's like a lot of people, till they go to university, they still like try to figure out who they are and what they want to do, and they keep changing over and over again. And it's just time is passing, where you solidified your identity since you were 8 months. That is amazing. That is amazing. It's a lot of strength, you know, just like a clear path and all of that. You storm through all of that.
Thank you so much.
So the music industry, right?
Yeah.
It's been happening and all of that. And the journey pretty much, you started in Bahrain or somewhere else?
No, I started in Saudi. That was first where I started. Yeah, quite interesting, isn't it? That's where I started because my mom would take me on stage when I was a little girl and I would do dance shows and stuff like that, talent shows and all that. So that's where I started. And then little commercials for different, little kiddie products and stuff like that.
Right.
So I was always in that, but it was more like close-centered because, it wasn't so open back then. It was more like just selected amount of work that I could do in Saudi. Then, so it started pretty much from there. And yeah, I went on to Bahrain and then just sort of went from there.
I mean, you have an amazing command of your linguistic skills, that's for sure. And you've been exposed to many cultures. Bahrain, then you have the Indian and Punjabi culture, and of course, the international westernized English culture and all of that kind of stuff. And it's like taking this from one generation to another and coming up with a new fusion, which is you. At this point, I mean, what can you say about that?
I think we're all in that culture in Bahrain. It's like so multicultural.
It
like
is,
we all talk pretty much the same. Everyone's like, "Wait, did you grow up in the States?" And I'm like, "Everyone in Bahrain speaks like us." I mean, yeah, we went to American schools or universities or colleges, but I think pretty much everyone who speaks English pretty much sounds like us. And I thought, so that's something we have in common. And obviously, Arabic is all around. You've heard my Arabic.
Not bad, not bad. You can receive it very well.
And so, but I had to learn Arabic at school, for about 8 years.
Wow.
So that's where it comes from. So obviously I can read and write.
Right.
It's not the greatest, but it gets me by.
You're doing amazing.
And so I bring that in my music because the Arab culture, Bahrain culture, is so close to my heart. I have to say it. I love the people of Bahrain, and anybody who knows me knows this about me.
Wow.
Bahrain to me is like my home, my people, and wherever I go to Canada, UK, I'm like, the people in Bahrain, I've never seen amazing people like that, who's just the most kindest people and so chilled, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're so chilled. And I think I want to take that with me wherever I went in my music. Even though I was out of Bahrain, I want to take Bahrain with me in my heart. And so that's when the Arabic came in. Obviously, my roots are Indian, so got the Indian now and then the English, and so I mixed that up, created my own genre, and that's why you hear my music. So that's what I did.
No,
so
speaking of that, you have the song Yalla Yalla.
Yalla Yalla.
That's a fusion right there. Tell us more about that song.
That song was music produced by Dr. Zeus, and we shot that in England. We shot that in London and Birmingham, one of the most beautiful, amazing places in central London. And it was the other location was in Birmingham, and it was, that song is very close to my heart. When I composed it, like the music, the lyrics, composition, and everything, I knew it. This was it. This was the song that I wanted to do. Okay. And I remember speaking to Dr. Zeus, and he would send me a bunch of tracks, and he said this one. I said no, just not feeling it. I need that Arabic because I want to. It's Bahrain. Like I want to bring Bahrain in me, and I want to bring the hip hop culture in me. I want to do this.
Right.
And he sent me about 12, 13 tracks. He's like, seriously? I'm like, no. Then finally he sent one. I'm like, this one. That was it. And I took that in, and then we went for it.
Amazing.
And by God's grace, alhamdulillah, like it was a hit. It reached the charts, it topped the charts, and I'm quite proud of it.
Amazing.
Thank you.
That is unbelievable.
Thank you so much.
How you pretty much bring different cultures in one place, right? And you have this amazing skill, and you know exactly what to blend with what and all of this. Now the thing is, as you've been in Bahrain for the longest time, and Bahrain loves you, as you love Bahrain as well, loves you back. You knew there was a time that said, I need to go somewhere else, I guess, just to pretty much expand and experience different kind of cultures, ways to see how your music can grow and all of that. So you decided to go to UK or Canada at this point?
I went to UK first, and I worked with a lot of music producers there. I did songs like Gran Gracia. Lovely was also recorded in the UK, but the song obviously internationally was released for that first Shah Rukh Khan movie, which is called Happy New Year. So we did the recording in England, and then India as well, I can't remember, but but it was released obviously worldwide. So I did work with a lot of producers from the UK, and so it just made more sense for me to be able to go there because I'm releasing music and I'm working with the producers out there. And so right now in Bahrain, I have this crazy idea.
Okay.
I have songs that I've written right now.
All right.
And I really would like to involve some Bahraini local artists to it.
Let's go.
Because I've been working with UK producers, working with North American producers, and it's been great. But I feel like I want to do something with my people now. So if you know, that's what I want to do. I want to collaborate with somebody here and hopefully make another big hit.
I'm sure you will. I mean, you know, in this show, we've been interviewing a lot of artists. So I know as you're going to see this, I'm like, okay, let's reach out. Let's collaborate. Let's make it happen.
Please, they're all welcome to reach out. And if, you know, the vibe fits and, you know, the songs fit, it's a vibe like Yalla Yalla. That's one of the songs that I've written. That's what I want to release next. It's got a very, like, you know, upbeat. And the other song is more like a powerful sort of a song. It's kind of like, I wouldn't say Dangerous Woman kind of vibes, but sort of like an Indian language.
Nice.
So that's what I'm going for.
Where are you focusing right now? Are you focusing on international songs? Are you focusing on more Arabesque, or are you going more into the Indian and Punjabi vibes?
So I've been always releasing international, like obviously Indian, Punjabi. I think they're pretty international, I would say.
Okay.
But I definitely do want to focus on the West style because I write my own songs. Recently I wrote a song about mental health and about raising mental health awareness.
Oh, wow.
It's called No One Wants Me, The Way That I Am.
Wow.
And that song was released on World Mental Health Day on the October 10th of last year, just a few months ago. And so I do want to write more songs where it's like R&B, hip hop, soul, you know, have that thing going on as well.
Okay.
So I'm working on my album right now, which is called Ana Mariah.
Ana Mariah.
I am.
Let's go.
Right, and it says I am Mariah, right?
Okay.
In Arabic, it's Ana Mariah. But so basically, it's got like 7 languages in that album.
What?
So it's got, so it's got Punjabi, it's got Hindi, it's got Arabic, and it's different. So that's what I want to do. I want to release like that's what I'm working on right now. At this point. Multicultural international album. So the question to you asked is, I want to do all of it.
That's amazing. 7 languages, maybe sponsored by Duolingo at one point. You know, can them sponsor Berlitz or even music producers or like, hey, 7 languages. You want to learn a language? No one, 7 in one album with Mariah.
So
Ana Mariah.
It's got Punjabi, it's got Hindi, Arabic, English, Tamil, Malayalam, Telugu, and pretty much. So
And you
6.
speak them all.
I don't speak them all. You've heard my Arabic. It's okay. It's not.
It's okay.
It's not
it's
the
good.
greatest. But I speak Hindi, I speak Tamil, Malayalam. Yeah, I speak a few.
That's
and
amazing.
I sing in the other few.
That's what happens when you speak more than one language, and all of a sudden, like creativity just goes spikes off the roof, right?
It's confusing sometimes, but it is. Wallah, I swear it is. It's very confusing because sometimes I'm just like, I don't know what I'm saying, or I don't have the words coming out of my mouth right about now.
You pick the language that will best express that expression.
Yeah. But I think, but English is sort of like my first language, if I'm being very honest, even though it's not. But so, I want to definitely release more of the stuff, more real stuff. You know, I want to talk about, you know, not just about mental health, but I want to talk about real stuff, whether it's about bullying and other things, and write more and talk about real things that are happening to the world. The other day we did a thing called Safe Soil campaign. Sadhguru was in town.
Yes.
And so I painted this painting for him, and I was lucky enough.
You paint as well?
Well, no, I'm not the greatest. Believe me, it was like a 10-year-old painted it. But so anyway, I'm very passionate about things like that, talking about art, and so I want to be able to bring that in my music, and not just be able to paint it, but just. So that's what I love to do in my music. Yeah.
Wow. It's so amazing. Apparently, what you do is like you give 100% in everything you do. Like I still remember when we acted in that movie, and ladies and gentlemen, the movie called Dead Sense. It's, you know, I'll stop right here. Let's not go further with the movie. But I still remember when we actually did the movie, and it's like you were so into the character.
Samara.
It is Samara, right? I remember now. And you were just going in as this mean girl.
I was a mean girl.
Everybody like, oh my God, she is mean.
Everyone started clapping in the theater after the movie was done, and my family sitting there going, that's my daughter, like you're all clapping because the character dies in the movie, and so everyone was so happy, and I'm just like, man, y'all hate me.
They clapped because you died in the movie?
Yeah. You were not there for the
premiere. I remember that numbers because they don't understand, like they clapped because you were that good or because the character died.
The character died.
You were that good.
Well, I hope so, because I remember somebody came out, like there was a lady with her daughter right after the movie, and she started swearing at me like, why are you such a bad person? I was like, it's not me. And she's like, my daughter's right, and she was scared. I'm like, whoa, lady, that's just a movie. It really happened. My friend's staring going, does she not know? I'm like, I don't think she thinks it. She's like, why are you such a bad person?
People felt sorry for me. I got killed by Mahmar.
Oh my God.
At the very end, it was an
I
after
remember-
credits.
Yes, I remember that. I remember that movie quite
It was
well.
like, and I had like 3 to 4 bottles of Vim 2. You remember the Vim 2 part?
I remember. Oh my God, the Wim Twos. Everyone hated that part, I think.
Amazing.
You're one of them, weren't you?
Oh yeah, but the thing is, see, as you've been acting,
Yeah.
and you went to modeling, and pretty much, but you pursue music as your main thing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's amazing.
Music's always been my passion. Modeling is something I really, really enjoyed since I was a little girl. Acting is something that's always also something that I'm very passionate about.
Right.
But music is sort of like, it connects my soul. I feel like I'm born to do this, and this is what I was born to do. This is what I'm here on earth to do, and
Right.
I love it. And my biggest idol is Michael Jackson. I think everybody absolutely loves him.
Yeah.
And everything
Yeah.
that he, like, just what, like since I was 8 months old, even before I could talk, I was a fan of his, and it's never changed. And I think that's what really got me into music. Yeah, I'm from a musical background, but just my love for music was Michael Jackson, Michael Jackson, Michael Jackson, and that's it. And so I think for me, like his music, and it was so perfect. I was just like, how can something be so perfect? You listen to any of his music, it's like, that's perfection. And so I sort of wanted to do something, you know, obviously that's, you know, Michael Jackson, but I'm really glad I used him as sort of like an influencer role model to
Right.
be able to connect to
Right.
music in my own way, and then, you know, feel happy doing what I do.
Amazing, amazing. As you have this amazing experience in the music industry, and actually I would say the entertainment industry, it's not really the easiest place to
No.
break into, right?
No.
So, I mean, you endured the challenges, the painful moments, the good times, and all of that, and it's still like, I would say, there isn't like the clearest path to how to actually make it in the entertainment
No.
industry. But if somebody would ask you and they say, you know what, I want to be another Mariah, I want to take those steps. I mean, it's not going to be as easy because they have to breathe,
Yeah.
eat, live like Mariah, have a mother
Yeah.
like Mariah. But at this point, what advice would you give?
Well, my family has been the biggest support. When I stopped my 7-figure job to, you know, I was still working, I was going to school, I was in college, graduated in 2013, 2014. And I hate it, like I didn't want to be doing a 9-to-5 job. It's just not me. I always want to be in the entertainment industry. But one of the rules that my mom had was you can have that as a backup, because if it doesn't work
Right,
out, then you
right,
got something to
totally.
fall back on.
Yeah, I
So that's
understand
when I
that.
went to Oxford, graduated. I was like, now I'm done. I'm going to do what I want to do. Dead Stands happened. I had just come, so literally graduated, came down, and I was shooting for Dead Stands 2 months later. Literally. So that's what happened. I think we shot in December, right?
Give or take, it wasn't good weather.
And I just graduated in October, so I literally came 2 months later. I was shooting for Dead Sound, so I knew what I wanted to do, and I worked since I was 14 years old. So for me to be able to give up a job that I've been earning and making a lot of money doing what I love to do, and not earn anything at all, because part of being in the entertainment industry is that you're hustling. So sometimes you have to get in, and you gotta do work for a lot that's basically pays nothing, and so Alhamdulillah, I'm lucky to have a family that supports me. They supported me, and I don't think I would not be here without them. That's one thing. But what I would advise or tell people is that hustle, because if it was easy, everyone would be famous and be millionaires by now, right? Everyone would be musicians, but it's not that easy. It takes blood, sweat, hard work, 24/7, hustling. That's the only way. And there are times where you want to give up, and you're so devastated and you break down. Do not give up, because that's when you got to pick yourself harder. Take 2 or 3 days,
Right.
just to feel sorry for yourself, but pick yourself up harder, and then, make up for those days you lost, and then just go fight harder, because that's the only way it's going to happen. Hustling, chasing. It's the only way.
Just don't give up.
Don't
Just
give
keep
up. And
going,
even
right.
now, I haven't even reached, I haven't even reached 1% of where I want to be at. There's so much more that I want to do, and I haven't reached it yet. I
Okay.
mean, so there are still goals that are pending. There are still goals that I'm
Wow.
chasing. So
Wow.
I'm not there yet. So it's still got a
Hearing-
long way to go.
Hearing this right now, even though with all the achievements you achieved, and you would think, you achieved a lot, but you tell me only 1%.
Only
So
1%.
What are you aiming for at this point?
I'm aiming for the sea. I'm at the shore right now. I'm just at the shore. I'm just aiming for that sea to get
Okay.
in. I'm still way back. I need to get in. That's what I'm aiming
Okay.
at, to capture an entire. But it's going to take a while.
Amazing. So
Patience.
as you're in Bahrain right now,
Yeah.
you've done a lot internationally speaking, Bollywood, Canada, UK, and
Yeah.
back to Bahrain and other places maybe. I can't even pronounce at this point. But, so any future projects that we are going to see anytime soon?
Right now, I took some time off
Okay.
recently because of, recent events. I come here to Bahrain on a family emergency. I was in Canada for about 3 years, and I came here on a family emergency.
Right.
So because of my mom, and she has some, health issues, and so
Bless
we were
her.
dealing with that. So inshallah, everything's,
Inshallah.
okay. But it's sort of, because that was happening, and the same time my song "No One Wants Me" was releasing, I was not doing too well because I was battling with mental health for so long, and because this industry is kind of like, it puts you on a different role because you really have to
Yes.
have the skin for it, right?
Right.
And so sometimes there's like ups and downs. And so while I was writing, the pandemic happened, COVID happened, and so musicians really went through a hard time. Because how we make money and it's through gigs and shows and
Yeah.
and so when the pandemic happened, everything sort of went down, and so all the musicians and artists all over the world, from sportsmen to actors and actresses, everybody were really suffering because it's not just about the money, but we couldn't enjoy or do what we wanted to do. And so that was keeping our mental health, I guess, in check. And so I wrote this song, "No One Wants Me the Way That I Am," and it's about not being accepted, and I felt like it could relate to everybody whoever felt that way, even if it's an 8-year-old child who's been bullied in the schoolyard, and they feel that way because they were bullied and they feel like nobody wants to play with me, or somebody who's rich or poor, anything, a person who feels insecure about their weight, or
Right.
a person who feels insecure about their skin color. And so this song was about them feeling that they're not wanted for the way that they are.
Yeah.
And so everyone has their own mental health struggles. And so I wrote the song, and the day of the release was, I was dealing with obviously my mom, and there were so many things that was going on, and so it put me in another sort of hole, and I couldn't even release it properly, didn't put out that well. But alhamdulillah, I'm okay now, and I'm
Okay.
trying to get out there, So I did take a break, but inshallah, I've got some songs that I'm writing on, and I would love to work with Bahraini local
Let's
artists,
go.
local producers. So, everyone's more than welcome to hit me up, and I would love to have some of my people on board with me for my next journey.
Yeah, you got this. Definitely got this. So I think I need an autograph because soon enough I won't be able to have you back here again. So it's good that we have you here today. You never know.
So, thank you so much.
Definitely.
But, so nice to see you
Oh,
again.
likewise, definitely. So I know we can talk for hours.
Yes.
Definitely.
Well,
But
we've been doing that.
he's pretty much catching up after all these years. But if you're gonna leave us with few words to me and the viewers,
Yeah.
what's that gonna be?
What I would say is, if you got a dream, and you really, really believe in that dream, don't ever give up, not even for a
Okay.
second. And, just believe in yourself and be unique, because it's always important to bring something new to the table and just be yourself. And when I mean be yourself, I mean, don't pretend to be somebody else and bring that on the table. Just be
Right.
you, and just be you, and let people love you or accept you for the way you are. But even if it's just this little, that still has a lot more value than being fake and just, I don't really believe in that, but yeah, so just be you. And love yourself. Don't forget that, because that's something that I learned quite recently, where, I forgot myself and I forgot who I was, but now I'm ready to get back. And no matter what comes, I'm ready to be the old Mariah again.
Amazing, amazing.
I'm ready to be that same girl
Be
again.
yourself, like speak 7 languages, for example. I'm so fascinated. I mean, that's the only one. That's only one of the things. I mean, you have a list of things. Like oh my gosh, like what? She can what? Really? She can do that too. Well, Mariah, bless you.
Thank you so much, Bara.
And it's good to have you back here again.
Thank you so
And
much.
we cannot wait to see the amazing future of Mariah.
Thank you so much, Bara. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you, Bahrain TV, and thank you, Bara, for having me here. Had an amazing time talking to you
Most
today. Thank you so
definitely.
much.
Most definitely.
Thank you so much.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the beautiful words of Mariah. Don't give up. So thank you so much for joining us, and let's leave you with a little Mariah's musical magic right here on Bahrain Now.
I wake one day and no one's there. I called and reached no one's hand. They showed me that there's nothing to believe. Yeah, I won't be scared to let them win. I wanna be alive and find my way. I won't lose myself. No
Well, everyone, this brings us to the end of today's episode. Don't forget to reach out to us on our social media accounts shown below. Thank you for watching, and we'll be seeing you another episode of Bahrain Now. I'm Bara Abdulla. Till next time, Bahrain, goodbye and God bless.